Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you. Before I begin, I must say, I feel like this attire is much too formal for what I intend on discussing with you tonight. So, let me channel my inner rock star and let's talk. Now, if this isn't rock star, I don't know what is. Winston Churchill once said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." I found that this really applies to my journey with the legendary six-stringed instrument, the guitar. I'm just kidding. That comes later. If you had told me a year ago that I would be able to play the guitar, I would have most likely asked you how you travel back in time. No, but seriously, I wouldn't have believed it. Granted, by playing the guitar, I mean the super easy stuff, like the basics, right? But hey, good things take time. And it is over that time when the things you learn really matter, not the end result. That by taking a closer look at the journey that I went on and any journey that anybody else goes on, you can start to understand the importance of determination and consistency. However, in order to truly understand how far I have come, we need to travel back in time ourselves to the beginning of this school year. I think the question of what I wanted to do was a hard one because for me, that changes on a weekly basis, if not quicker. I'm talking like hourly, daily, that sort of thing. But something came over me and said that out of all the other choices I had chosen for Genius Hour, guitar was the one calling out to me. I don't necessarily think that there was any one particular reason for this, besides just my general love of music, and I wanted to be able to play the songs that I love. These songs range from big bands like the Smashing Pumpkins, Radiohead, and the Foo Fighters, to smaller bands like Peach Pit, Cigarettes After Sex, and the Backseat Lovers. Luckily for me, the majority of the songs that I love are extremely hard to play. So that totally wasn't annoying or anything. I digress. I digress. So by putting on my big boy pants, my big boy rockstar pants, I could see the vision of me totally rocking out in front of millions of crowds. I'm just kidding. I was determined to teach myself how to be somewhat of a rock star, though, you know what I mean? I suppose you could say that I've always loved music and I've always had it as a part of my life. And I suppose it was only a matter of time until I took it upon myself to learn how to play the majority of the songs that I love, right? But the Genius Hour let that cat out of the bag, and it's lost. It's long gone. You're never finding that cat again, okay? Great. I'm glad we could make that clear. So, before I could work on this project, before it could become approved, I had to pitch it, right? And it was during this pitch that I made one cruel mistake. One cruel mistake. I set my goal. Oh, wait. I set my goal high, right? Let's play that clip now. I mean, who else at the party is gonna play Wonderwall by Oasis? Today was gonna be the day that I throw it all back to you. Oh, you naive, naive, naive boy. Yeah. Playing Wonderwall was the goal that I set for myself. And this was unknowingly, by the way. I found out later that I had set this goal for myself. And that would put me on the long path that has spit me out here before you. Back when I made this pitch, I had no idea whatsoever how to play a guitar, much less a song as difficult as Wonderwall. So I knew I needed to come up with a plan of attack, and I needed to do it pronto. The old saying goes, practice makes perfect, so I knew I needed to come up with a plan of practice. I knew my success was going to boil down to my consistency. That scared me because I've never really been good at staying consistent with many things. So I knew I would have to try extra hard in order to see this project through. I decided that before I would even dare touch a guitar, I needed to go through sources and materials that would serve me well as anchors for my learning journey and the quest to play guitar. So that's what I did. And honestly, I still continue to do that because that little instrument, I really enjoy playing it. And so I want to continue to learn how to play it and improve over time. So I scrounged Google Images, YouTube, TikTok, and basically any media sharing service that shows audio or visual or video or some combination of the two, right? I found myself at least 30 to 40 websites and videos, and I saved them all. And they had information that served me very well and have brought me here to where I am before you today. While my goal was set to play Wonderwall, I secretly set out to play the hit song Everlong by the Foo Fighters, as that song is arguably one of my favorite of all time. I just wanted to play the intro of this song so badly because it has always been one of my favorite parts of music of all time, right? So I would assume you as an audience are familiar with this song as it has over 1 billion streams on streaming services. So yeah. So I saved tutorials of this song that I thought would help me be able to play it, and I thought it would be awesome to be able to play one of the most iconic rock songs of all time. And that's just what I did. So I had my goals, and it was time for me to begin working towards these goals. By this time, we were placed about 4 or 5 months ago at the beginning of January. Unfortunately for my upcoming attempts at practice, I had the beginning of my track season coming up soon. This means I had to perfect a practice schedule so flawless that I would be able to manage this with what little downtime I had. What I did before track season was that I crammed a ton of knowledge and playing into what I could before track season came out fully, right? So for 15 minutes a day, I would solely focus on watching videos, playing, or just practicing strumming, right? And the first problem I ran into was how inflexible my fingers are while working around the fretboard, right? That's not good. So I figured it was a problem that would probably solve itself over time. And speaking now, it somewhat has. Granted, I'm no Eddie Van Halen by any means, but I'm not going around like this. I can move around somewhat well, right? So that's important. However, around the beginning of February, track season began, and my time became severely limited. And this is where tragedy strikes my fun little happy-go-lucky tale. You see, I've never been the greatest at managing my time, and playing the guitar wasn't like my homework. I couldn't just stay up until 11:30 each night, banging out, rocking out the guitar, right? Instruments tend to be loud and obnoxious, especially when you don't know how to play them very well. So I had to practice at a time that wouldn't disturb my parents, my pets, or my neighbors. Yeah, quite tricky, right? This actually turned out to be much more difficult than I intended it to be. In fact, I only really found time to practice on the weekends. That is when I wasn't busy helping with my friend's Eagle Scout project, snowboarding, or just generally out and about. There was a point where I practiced one time over the span of 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, it was difficult, and I hate to admit it, but I set guitar on the back burner for other things that I put at higher priority. It slowly started to get better around mid March when my track season started to it's not that it died out, it's just I got in the rhythm of it, so I was able to add other things on top of that, and that really I'm really thankful for that, or else I wouldn't be here before you today, right? Right. So I it was around this time I had a come to Jesus moment that, oh my goodness, this talk is a little over a month away. Brendan, you have to get your act together, or else you're gonna make a complete fool of yourself, and you're gonna get an F, and life is not gonna be good, right? So I decided it was time to lock in and practice to be able to come up here and yap for you for 10 minutes, right? Just kidding, this isn't yapping. This is very knowledgeable and wise. So I started practicing like I did in January. I even went out and picked up some guitar picks. Here, let me show you. Pretty neat, right? Pretty cool. I was really starting to improve. I was asking some people that I know that have a good bit of experience with guitar for some advice, and they gave me some great advice that I went off of. So I practiced, and I practiced consistently, day in and day out. Then, just when things were turning all happy go lucky again, tragedy struck again. Spring break and the SAT. I did not dare go near a guitar, okay? I needed to study for this test. This test was crucial to my future, which College Tours would later tell me they don't really view that, but I needed to get a good score on that test. So I didn't dare go near guitar until after April 10th. That was almost a 2 week span, by the way, of nothing to do with guitar, ignoring it, leaving it off to the side, and just all that sort of stuff, right? So it wasn't long after this where I realized I didn't have until the due date of April 26th to record this talk and get it all ready and edited and all ready to go, right? So I realized it was April 23rd, which at the time of recording this is tomorrow. So as this is because I leave for Oklahoma on Thursday. So this is not good. Wednesday's a track meet. Tomorrow, the 23rd, is when this is due. So I knew back then, I knew weeks ago, I had to lock in because I was still not great at the songs I wanted to play. So I needed to lock in and get there, right? Right. So this left me with about less than 2 weeks to finish practicing as much as I could to record my talk. It is at this point that I have some bad news. I know that I just made it sound like things were turning around for me and I had my head screwed on right, everything was good to go. But I have a confession to make to you. There is no way I was going to be able to play Wonderwall. No way at all. Mm-mm. However, before you go around saying that, oh, I was unsuccessful at my main goal, listen to this. I was only half unsuccessful. Because if you rewind, I had also made it one of my other goals to be able to play the intro to Everlong by the Foo Fighters, which through consistent efforts and a lot of time, I have learned to play that. So, half failure project, half not failure. I call that a victory, right? So, don't worry, I plan on showing you Everlong after this speech. Anyways, I think it was around this time that I finished the SAT that I knew I wasn't gonna make it to the Wonderwall status. So I was nowhere near that good at strumming patterns yet, and my ability to switch chords was still lackluster. And plus, I didn't even have a capo to put on the second fret, so I couldn't even play it if I ever wanted to. So that was a pretty big bummer. So I ditched Wonderwall by Oasis and chose a much better song, which I just told you about. Also, if I may add, Wonderwall is kind of a mid song by Oasis, right? I think the band did a much better job on their song Champagne Supernova. Anyways, that's all subjective, right? So I moved on with this new goal that was much more attainable, and I was still, and still am, I could still continue to be proud and very happy with. Well, now you can see what I accomplished and what I didn't accomplish. So I feel that I should enlighten you on the important takeaways that I got from this journey, and that I hope you will also take away from this speech. I should start with my main takeaway. In order to do something that you have never done before, you have to work like you never have before. What I mean by that is to do something or have something that is completely fresh, completely new to you and your lifestyle. You have to take a different look at things, and you have to take a different workflow to things in order to be able to attain what you want. Next is something that, unfortunately, I didn't learn about until about the last month of this project, and that is the power of consistency. I learned that by working at something repeatedly, in my case it was the guitar, you can achieve things that dwell in your dreams. Let these things out and express yourself, because it could not matter less what you are actually doing, but is the choices you make, the failures you go through, the lessons you learn from those failures, and the heart that you show that make anything worth doing worth it in the first place. Thank you, and now everlong.
Let's rock!
You kidding me? What the heck? Anyways, Chanosaurus Rex.
Let us play the guitar and rock and roll.